Have you ever stopped to think that your workplace might change more in the next 10 years than it did in the entire last century? Artificial intelligence isn't just a new app on your phone or a robot from a sci-fi movie. It is like electricity reaching your street for the very first time. It changes the way everything works. But for those who work for a living, the burning question is, what is left for the worker when the machine learns how to think? According to recent analyses from the International Monetary Fund and major institutions like Goldman Sachs and the OECD, the impact will be significant. Nearly 40% of jobs worldwide are exposed to this technology. If you live in a developed country, that number jumps to 60%. This does not mean all these jobs will vanish, but it does mean the logic of your livelihood is being rewritten as we speak. The massive difference between this revolution and previous ones, such as the steam engine or the internet, is the target. In the past, machines replaced physical strength. This time, the target is what happens inside the heads of office workers. Tasks requiring data analysis, contract drafting, medical diagnostics, and even systems programming are being automated. Leading economists like MIT's Daron warn of the risk of excessive automation. This happens when companies use technology solely to cut costs and replace people without creating anything new. If a company simply swaps you for software to perform the same task, the economy doesn't actually grow, only the profit for the machine's owner increases while the worker's wage falls. It's basic math. If the value of human labor loses ground to the machine, the bargaining power of the person relying on that paycheck shrinks. However, it is not all doom and gloom. There is a side to this coin that could be very good for your wallet if the right direction is taken. David Author, another heavy-hitting economist, argues that artificial intelligence could restore middle-class work. Think about it this way. Today, to be a legal expert or an elite financial analyst, you need decades of expensive schooling. With artificial intelligence acting as a support system, a person with fewer years of training could perform complex tasks with the same quality as a veteran. Technology becomes a powerful tool that allows the average worker to perform like a genius. If this happens, productivity, your ability to generate value per hour worked, could take a massive leap. Vanguard estimates for 2026 show that the economy of the United States and other leading nations could grow by up to 3% more because of this efficiency gain. If productivity goes up, there's room for wages to rise as well, provided the worker knows how to operate these new tools. But the outlook for the next 10 years brings an urgent warning for those just starting their careers. Data from the World Economic Forum shows that entry-level positions, the ones that serve as the gateway for young people, are the most threatened. Routine office tasks like customer service and document processing are being quickly absorbed by intelligent systems. This creates what experts call the first rung crisis. If a machine is doing the work of the intern or the assistant, how will that young person learn what they need to become the manager of the future? The result is a greater pressure for immediate qualification. A college degree, which already wasn't a guarantee, is worth even less now if it isn't paired with AI fluency. You will have to be the master of the machine, not its competitor. Anyone trying to compete with a computer on calculation speed or memory will lose. The secret lies in creativity, ethical judgment, and the ability to solve problems that software does not yet understand. Looking across different sectors of the economy, the change will be uneven. While retail and administrative tasks feel the blow of automation, areas like healthcare and social assistance are expected to see a surge in job openings. This is because no matter how smart software gets, it cannot replace human care, empathy, and touch. The global population is aging, and the demand for professionals who care for people is only growing. Additionally, technical and infrastructure sectors like construction and complex machine maintenance remain protected. You cannot download an app to fix a leaky roof or install an electrical grid. Skills manual labor gains new value in a world where repetitive intellectual work becomes cheap. Another point you need to monitor is the rise in inequality. If artificial intelligence generates massive wealth for companies, but those profits stay concentrated in the hands of tech giants, the working class gets poorer. This is what economists like Eric Brynjolfsson call the productivity paradox. The economy produces more, but the worker doesn't see a dime of that money. Over the next 10 years, the struggle will be over who gets a slice of the pie. Governments around the world are already discussing robot taxes or universal basic income policies, because if automation takes away too many paychecks, who will buy the products the machines are making? Consumption is the engine of the market, and without people with money in their pockets, the system stalls. The financial balance of the coming decades depends on how laws handle the profits generated by machines. If you're enjoying the insights so far, make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Your day-to-day reality 10 years from now will be that of an augmented worker. You will likely have a digital assistant that handles the tedious parts of the job, organizing your schedule, answering simple emails, or doing complex math, while you focus on the parts that require real intelligence. The work week might even shrink, but the intensity and the demand for results will be higher. Financial security will no longer come from knowing how to do one single thing forever, but from your agility in learning the next tool. The 2036 job market won't be a place for those seeking stability in the old sense of the word, but for those who seek constant adaptation. To wrap up, you need to understand that artificial intelligence isn't an inevitability path to unemployment, but a forced invitation to level up. History shows that technology creates more jobs than it destroys in the long run, but the short term, the next 10 years, could be very painful for those who stand still. The logic of the market is cold. Capital seeks profit. If the profit is in the machine, capital goes there. To maintain your value, you must offer what the machine does not have. Your financial future depends on you being the pilot of this new engine, not the passenger waiting for the trip to end. Technology is running. The only question left is whether you're ready to run with it, or if you'll stand behind watching the world change through the window. This technological race does not happen in a vacuum. It directly shifts the global balance of power and the strength of the global economy. The United States is currently leading because it is home to the companies that created these algorithms, which means global capital is pouring into the country through subscriptions, licenses, and digital services. For nations that have always relied on attracting factories through cheap labor, this is a major red flag. If software running on American soil can do the work of 1,000 people at a lower cost and with zero errors, the competitive advantage of offshore production vanishes. The world risks seeing a massive gap between those who invent the technology and those who merely pay to use it, concentrating wealth in a way never before seen in modern history. You also need to notice an invisible but very real shift in the flow of money. When artificial intelligence replaces a service previously performed by a professional in your own country, the capital that once circulated within the local economy and paid local wages crosses borders to feed tech giants. This is the rise of digital rent. The world is beginning to pay monthly fees for tools that have become essential for any job, draining wealth from nations that do not own their own technology. This movement tends to strengthen the economies that dominate software while weakening the local currencies of those who only consume. In the end, you may find yourself working harder to pay for tools that, while increasing your productivity, send the final profit far away from your own pocket. Finally, look at the foundation that sustains public services like schools and hospitals. Today, almost all the tax revenue a government collects comes from human labor. If machines take over these tasks and the total wage bill shrinks or stops growing, the source of money to keep a country running simply dries up. In the United States, where public debt is already a central concern, the challenge will be redesigning the entire tax system in record time. If taxes do not come from your hard work, they will necessarily have to come from the profits generated by algorithms or the giant corporations that control them. If leaders fail to make this transition, the social cost of automation will be paid through a decline in the quality of public services. The global economy is entering uncharted territory, where a country's success will no longer be measured by the number of people on a payroll, but by its ability to collect from those who own the artificial intelligence.